Hello, now that we've set up the gradebook details for this class, we're going to be moving on to categories. In order to add assignments in a gradebook, you first need to set up categories. So we're going to go up to Options and Add. So here we can add a code for our category. This is going to be a short code so that it can show up for them. So since this is a language class, we're going to call this a oral category. Now, the advantage of categories is we're able to group assignments into categories. Once you've created a category, you can create defaults for those assignments. There's nothing wrong with creating a general category and having everything based in a single category. However, having additional categories does also allow you to weight them. So you'd be able to weight your assignments based on the category that they belong to. So again, in this example, I'm using oral as a category, as in spoken. I could also add categories such as oral for listening, assignments. I could have participation, and it would allow me to separate each of those categories into different weighting, so that I could say that my oral is worth 20% and my written is worth 40%, so on and so forth. So right now we're going to add that as oral. I'm going to call it oral language. And by leaving it at 1 means it's going to be weighted equally with the other categories. Assignment defaults. Now, when I add an assignment, the first thing I have to do is select the category, and then it's going to be able to feed the defaults into that assignment. So what do I want? My defaults would be both, so it can be either numeric or letter. Total points for this assignment. Let's say all of my oral assignments are going to be worth 10 points. And whether or not the score can be dropped. This relates back to the details where we determined whether or not the lowest score could be dropped. Where this would be important is, let's say we had a category on tests, and so we told our students that all assignments, or that we would drop the lowest score on your assignments. We could actually check this off for everything but the assignments category. So that's what this one here is. We would then click that box, and anything in this category would not be dropped. Last thing is visibility type. So here, this deals with the parent portal. So until such time that we add the parent portal, we don't so much have to worry about this one. But there are 3 sections here. There's public, private, public no grades. Public means that when the parent or student logs in, they'll be able to see these assignments under this category as soon as they've been added. So they'll be able to see the assignment weight, any descriptions, and the grade once you've entered that in. So that's public, totally accessible and viewable by all logged in users, i.e. teachers, parents, and students. The next one is private, which is the default category type. That means that only you as the teacher can view these assignments. So if a parent logs into the parent portal, they will not be able to see these assignments until such time as you make them public. And again, that can be done in the assignment. You'll notice these are assignment defaults. So this would be that when I add an assignment, I don't want it to show up until I decide to make it. So I may make let's say I have 50 assignments throughout the year. I can create all 50 assignments, leave them as private, and then as they come up, when I assign them, I can then make the visibility type, change it to public, or even public no grades, which will lead to in a second. And then when I'm ready to post my grades, I would change it to public. So that last category, public no grades, is kind of obvious in the fact that parents can see the assignment, any descriptions, any information regarding the assignment, but they won't see the grades that you've entered. So let's say, for example, you want to post the assignment so parents can know what's coming up and when it's due. And as soon as you start receiving them, you also want to be able to enter in the grades. If you've left it to public, as you change student grades, they'll be immediately accessible by students. So Johnny may be able to say, oh, look, I got 10 out of 20 or 5 out of 10. And Sam will say, well, I don't have a grade in there. So if you want all students to view their grades at the same time, if you have a policy that you don't release grades until such time that all marks are in, you would then make it public, no grades. Right? We're going to leave this as private because this allows you, again, the flexibility to determine when it is that parents and students will see your assignments. So we've now added that category. We can hit save, which we've done. Let's say we want to add another category. We're going to click on add. This one's going to be tests. Description, these are going to be class and assignment tests. These descriptions are going to be are visible to parents and students when they log in, so that they can see as they group and as they're sorted how they're doing within these categories. I'm going to weight them equally with my others. My entry mode I'm going to leave as numeric only because in my tests I'll have a grade. Total points, my default is going to be 100. And I don't want any scores to be dropped on this one. I'm also going to leave this one private. I'm going to click save. So now when I go back to my categories side tab, here are my two categories. They're both weighted equally. Default points 10 and 100. Weighting again, these are the default for the assignments. The default weight is 1. The default assignment weight is 1. And the percent is 50. In other words, they're split between them. All right. So one thing you'll notice though is that there is no assignment weighting option here. It shows you here that it's weighted equally for the assignment, but there's nothing that exists. This is actually set within your preferences. And you go to gradebook. So here are your default weighting. Category only, categories and assignments, total posts, categories, and total posts. For more information on your gradebook preferences, please review the gradebook preferences video on the MyEd training site. So that's setting up my categories. If you have any questions regarding category setup, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you.